Last week we went over how to do some human cavalry. Today we're going to do our first dark elf cavalry with kind of more of a skirmish focus. We'll do a shock cavalry list next week. I think this might be the best cavalry list that you can do with this set. Let me know what you think. Um, but yeah, it does use a black dragon, so cool dragons. I'm going to be using black dragons and dark riders because I really think the dark riders actually kind of shine, and really excited about maybe getting some of those. I have a pretty sizable dark elf force. Not too sizable, but I definitely could see myself picking up these guys because these models are actually pretty good. And while the Dreadlord on Black Dragon does not look that great in pictures, it looks significantly better in person. But with that, this is your host Greyhammer, and today we're going to be getting straight into this list. If you do enjoy this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, think about joining my Patreon. Links in the description. So the list itself is a Dreadlord on Black Dragon as the general, a Sorceress backing him up, and then a unit of 10 Dark Riders and 2 units of 5 for 990 points. We'll cover some 2,000 points iterations in other videos. But we've got 3 orders that we're going to be able to do. It's going to be picking the advance in formation, suppressing fire, and strike them down. Because your guys can shoot and attack in melee, you got a lot of options with them. Advance in formation, you can basically get an extra 3-inch move up to, I believe it's up to 3 units. No. Okay, it's just the one. If it's a human, you can get 2. My bad. Read that wrong. Suppressing fire is also one where you can shoot, and if it targets the same enemy after you roll a dice, if it's equal to or less than the number of models that were slain, then they get strike last. It's rare to get that, but it could be good if you kill a few with their shooting attacks. And then get the strike last and can charge into them and get your attacks in, and we'll talk about other things you get to do after that. Strike them down is another one that you get a little bit of bonus because you are elf. You can pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit that charged, add 1 to the attacks of their melee weapons. In addition, you get to add 1 to the hit rolls for their combat attacks. So that's pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if that combat attacks, because I know melee weapons would be only the non-companion weapons. Does combat attacks include the companion weapons? Let me know in the comments. Forward Dawners, we're taking this one again. It's just add 2 to the move of your friendly Cities of Sigmar units in the first battle round, so everyone's going to be super, super fast. Not much to say above that on the first battle round. Your general's going to take Grizzled Veteran and the Glimmering. It's kind of basic, but I think it's kind of, if you're going for a melee character, then it makes the most amount of sense. So, if an unmodified wound roll for an attack that targets this unit is a 1 to 3, the attack fails and the attack sequence ends. And Glimmering, each phase you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, and 1 save roll. So, each phase you're going to be able to do some rerolls. It can be quite useful. Especially in like the shooting phase where you actually do get a few shots with your dragon. Apologies, hit my desk. But let's go into the spell lore as well. You only have 1 spell lore with Cities of Sigmar. I would like for there to be more because a lot of it doesn't fit with the Dark Elf theme, but, you know, we'll take what we can get. We've got Elemental Lightning. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar wizard, visible enemy unit with an 18. You need to get a 7 on 2d6, and then inflict d3 mortal damage, then roll a dice for each other enemy unit within the target's combat range. On a 4-up, inflict d3 mortal damage on that unit. Can be useful, but pretty situational there. Speed of the Twin-Tailed Comet is another spell. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 12, then make a casting roll 2d6, again needing a 7. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the number of dice rolled when making charge rolls to a maximum of 3. That one is pretty good. 3d6 charge rolls on your cavalry can be pretty strong. Cindercloud is your last spell. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar wizard. A visible enemy unit within 18, does not have to be wholly within in, and needs a casting value of 7. And then until the start of your next turn, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of their melee weapons, so you can make them significantly less damaging. You should only still be able to reduce them to 1 attack apiece, so some limited utility, but the spell lore in general does give you some pretty nice utility in this list. We have not gone over the Dreadlord on Black Dragon before, so let's get into it. He's got 14 health, he's got 12-inch move, but remember that will be 14 inches in the first battle round. A 4-up save and control 5. He's got his repeater crossbow with a 12-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage, crit of 2 hits. Black Dragon's Noxious Breath, 10-inch range, D3 plus 3 attacks, 2 up to hit, 4 up to wound, rend 1, 1 damage, can shoot in combat, and is a companion weapon. The Dreadlord's weapons is 5 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, rend 1, 2 damage, and he gets plus 1 damage on the charge. And then the Black Dragon's Fearsome Jaws and Claws, 6 attacks, 4s and 2s, rend 2 and 2 damage. Well, he's taken 10 or more damage points, he only gets 4 attacks instead of 6. You add 1 to the charge rolls for Cities of Sigmar Elf Cavalry while they're wholly within 12, so he gives you a plus 1 to the roll. And then once per turn in any combat phase, you got Indiscriminate Slaughter. Pick all units, friendly and enemy, within this unit's combat range, excluding this unit to be the target. Roll a d3 for each target. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. So you kind of want to keep him somewhat separate, but he does give buffs, so you want to keep him somewhat close as well. A pretty good unit. I don't think he does a lot of damage for what you want with a monstrous character. I think keeping him alive as a buff to your other characters is probably going to be your best bet with him. Sorceress, your true support character, health of 5, move of 6, 6-up save, control 2. The Witch Staff is 1 attack, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, rend 1, d3 damage. You don't want her in combat. Once per turn for your army, your hero phase, you get Cruel Sacrifice, where you can pick a Cities of Sigmar elf unit wholly within 6. Add 1 to the casting roll for her for the rest of the turn, then roll a dice on a 4-up, a model in the target unit slain. You're pretty much never going to use this ability in this army. In other armies, maybe, but not this one. Word of Pain is you pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit, roll a dice on a 3-up, subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for their attacks until the start of your next turn. So you kind of want her in melee, but you want her supported. So it's a little funky. You can, if you want to use that ability, maybe it's a kind of last resort, because I'm trying to see where that would actually be useful. Dark Riders are next, and sorry if you hear anything in the background, my mister's going off for my chameleon. This is the backbone of your army, so 3 health apiece, 12-inch move, that's going to go to 14 in the first battle round, 4-up save, and control 1. Their crossbows have a 12-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage, but crits are 2 hits. So with that unit of 10, you can get 20 shots off with this, and they're not great, but they do work, and if you can do some damage, then you can get that suppressing fire. Barbed Spears in melee, they have 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, rend 1, 1 damage, and charge gives them plus 1 damage, so can do quite a bit of damage on the charge. Dark Steed's Vicious Bites, 2 attacks, 5s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. At the end of any turn, you've got the Sow Havoc ability, where you pick an enemy unit in combat. With this unit to be the target, roll a dice on a 3-up, you inflict d3 mortal damage, and you can immediately retreat as if it was your movement without any mortal damage being inflicted upon them. This is a pretty strong ability, especially because you're going to, if you can get them with suppressing fire and you get them to strike last, then you can do as much damage as possible. Maybe they won't be able to do that much damage back to you, and then sow havoc to either end the unit or just get out of there and prepare to charge again. I think these units are probably the best cavalry unit we have in Cities of Sigmar. Let me know what you think. But with their shooting and their melee, Even though their shooting's not great, just extra dice is always better. So their 12-inch move, 3 health. I remember when cavalry had 2 health apiece, so I'm still stuck on the 3 health being a lot, but it's not anymore really. But I think this is a pretty good cavalry unit that we can use. Kind of some tactics to use. The Dreadlord can be a tough antagonist and provide buffs to charges, though I don't think he's going to do a lot of damage, like I said earlier. And you really want him to be a... He probably does more damage in his rampage than anything else. So if you can group together a large group of enemies with him, that would be good. But you don't want him too close to your allies, but you want him close enough. Your sorceress can provide that magical support and debuff enemies. Worst case scenario. -1 to hit plus and -1 to wound is pretty strong, but I don't think it would be strong enough to save her in combat if she was against an actual serious unit. Dark Riders are probably they're the backbone of this army, and they're kind of the stars of the show. They can skirmish with the enemy using suppressing fire and retreating after they are done attacking. That suppressing fire is going to be really useful. Try and make good use of that. But that's going to be it for this episode. Go ahead and like if you think this was an interesting list, and go ahead and comment if you feel like there's ways I could improve it. It really does help out. And yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more like this. We'll be going over kind of Dark Elf Shock Cavalry next week, and I'm really excited for this. If you want to join on Patreon, you will be able to get this and other videos like it early. Basically, whenever I finish recording and editing, I will be posting them right up on Patreon for $1 a month. You'll be able to watch. So that's it for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.